Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with another topic about an artist, and one of the artists I haven't really covered yet on this platform on the Diaphragm Dynasty is Miguel. Now, Miguel, I was thinking the other day, could he be the best male vocalist, or is he the best male vocalist of his era, of this era? Because he hasn't released an album since 2017, but when he entered the scene like wildfires. Uh, he definitely set a trend of artists and that having true artistry and getting back to the vocals and making it about the vocals and not just about the hit. Because even though he did have hits as well, but his vocals and his artistry got back to that place in the '90s where it was about who was the best vocalist and who had the best falsetto, who had the best range. And he started that topic up again because he was such a smooth of a vocalist. Um, and during his time, he existed with the greats. In this era, Chris Brown's, the Usher, the Weeknd, the Bruno Mars, Luke James, the Daniel Caesars, the Justin Biebers, all of these great vocalists, and I believe he stood the test of time and he's held his own in this period. Now he might not had as many hits as the others, but vocally, there are not many artists that can keep up with a Miguel. He just was such a smooth of a vocalist that it's very difficult to do. Now, while I think Miguel is elite and on the same level, but is he on the same level as Chris Brown? No, Chris Brown, I think, has more of a catalog and he has more time in the industry. And I think that if it wasn't for the issue that he went with early in his career, he would have been even big of an artist now. He would be the male version of a Beyonce or Rihanna right now. Even though he still has a lot of fans and still has a fan base that, even though he was blackballed, he still had a fan base. And that's what they can't get rid of. When you're blackballed, you can still have that fan base. Now, I think these guys are very similar, but I would give the nod to a Chris Brown in artistry just because he has just as good of a voice as Miguel, and he has more of a catalog and more hits and more time in. Miguel only has like 3 or 4 albums. Chris Brown has albums dating all the way back to when he was 16, back in, I believe, '06 or '05. Yeah, '05 when he first released an album. Miguel didn't come out to, later in Chris Brown's career, so he still has ways to go. Um, but I believe Chris Brown is head and shoulders above the field, but I'll cover that in another topic. This topic is just by Miguel, but um, Chris Brown's ability to tour, dance, sing, just be an all around talent is just unmatched. And unfortunately, he was blackballed and by some in the industry, so he couldn't get to levels where he wants to get to. But I think he'll still have the opportunity to get there. But I do feel Miguel is the second best vocalist in this era, just for the simple fact of just his range setting him apart from everyone. I'm a big fan of the falsetto, and Miguel has one of the best falsettos, and he can sing very low as well. So he can get very high and can get very low. Pause. So, but Miguel has one of the best voices, similar to Maxwell, and I think his voice is just a tad bit better than Maxwell's for some reason. But he definitely has that. He's just missing a few couple big hits to put him over the top. Because one of my favorite songs from him is "Girl with the Tattoo Interlude," which is a very short song, but it shows how high he can get in range and his falsetto, and he definitely puts that on full display in that song. Now, "Vixen" is my favorite song from him. If you know, this is from his first album, "All I Want Is You," which was a single as well that he had with J. Cole. Legendary way to come out as an artist and break the artist out. Quickie is another good song that he had, but that Vixen song, like I said before, is one of the best songs of the decade and one of the history, I believe. If you take time to listen to that Vixen song, you'll understand what I mean. It's one of those songs that didn't get a lot of play. I don't believe he released it as a single, but the song is very clever in the writing and very, in the vocals, put the cake icing on the cake. So definitely check out that song. And then, of course, he has songs like Adorn, Coffee, Skywalker with Travis Scott, that continued his ascension. he's been on a hiatus for a while, so hopefully he'll come back. I think he released a single earlier this year or sometime this year, so hopefully he'll be able to come back with some kind of a major hit or at least a decent hit to show us that he's back on track and he hasn't missed a beat. Before as vocally, he definitely has that ability, but I just think he needs a better writing team because I think he writes some of his own hits, but sometimes similar to the Tyler Perry argument, sometimes you need other writers in and bring other artists, well, other minds in to get just get some variety because writing in your own mind, you're gonna think the same and you're gonna put out the same product for the most part. But I think he needs like a Neo or the Dream to help him get to that next level, or at least open up his mind as far as writing goes to be able to make it to the next level. So he can truly showcase his talents on a big stage because he's been on a mid-level stage right now. But I know there's a lot of more room for him to go. But I don't think he has hit his ceiling yet or reached his top moment yet. But tell me what your thoughts about Miguel and is he the best vocalist of this era? And until next time, see you next time.